How will this big three scenario be different than the one Kevin Durant had in Brooklyn?
I'll say this. There's a lot of similarities, specifically with Devin Booker and Kevin being guys that, they need the basketball, right? I think Bradley Beal early in his career has shown an ability to play off the ball, specifically when he was with John Wall. Again, less and less spot-up shooting and more self-creation from him. The big difference to me, and maybe you guys will disagree with me on this, but I believe this, where Devin Booker is right now in his career, he's a better player than where Kyrie and James Harden were in their careers when Kevin Durant was with them in Brooklyn. I believe Devin Booker's that good. To me, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. He's proven that over the last 2 seasons. And so I think that's where you talk high-level talent and a top-heavy roster, Molly, a top-heavy roster.
Yeah.
But high-level talent, like the highest-level talent, Devin Booker, to me, is probably the biggest difference because I think he's that good.
I agree with you, JJ. In fact, this is probably why I'm still scratching my head a little bit at this. I get the business of it, but I thought KD and Book were a good enough pair that if they could get what they needed in terms of supporting those guys, they were poised to make a run. My initial reaction to this was, oh, it's cool. It's the big three that we saw on the East Coast now moved to the West. But I do think I'm willing to put a Beal, if he could get back to those elite years with the Wizards and be healthy. A Beal-Kyrie comparison, I'm willing to make that. I do think Book is better than what James Harden brought to that particular big three. I think, though, too, in this one, yes, all three of these guys are still like sort of ISO guys in a way, but I envision, and I think after what we saw from Book in the postseason, running the one a lot this year, the ball just moves a little bit better, but we didn't get to see much of that big three in Brooklyn. So it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily fair. Like the thing that I remember from that run is Kevin Durant almost taking out the Bucks with a one-leg James Harden and no Kyrie. So that's really not the big three in totality. But the basketball, the offense is going to be beautiful. I think this is fantastic. It's dynamic. The questions for me are just around the rest of that roster.
Let me say this, couple of things, all right? Devin Booker, I've used the words Kobe-esque at times, watching this brother play. His pull-up game, his long-range game, his commitment to scoring, to putting the ball in the hole. You've got some people that are a bit more passive than others. Devin Booker's not that guy. And when you fantasize, and we don't really have to fantasize because we've seen him with the ball in his hands at the point, particularly when CP3 went down, we saw how lethal he could be with the ball in his hands because he's such a big-time threat. He is a superstar caliber threat with the ball in his hands, and that can make things, because Bradley Beal can't do that for you. Bradley Beal is not a one. Bradley Beal is not a guy you can put the ball in his hands and ask him to run the show while looking to score. He can score for you, but he's not the one that you want with the ball in his hands to really run the show. Devin Booker is a guy that has tried to show he can do it all. He can do whatever you ask him to do. So we have to take that into consideration. I think that because of that, the Suns' offense will be prolific. We cannot deny that. But the real question was about Kevin Durant and how does he look in all of this. And I want to go back to a little Kevin Durant history. I'm the one that was on the record. I called this move from Oklahoma City to Golden State the weakest move that I had ever seen by a superstar. Now, I didn't backtrack from that. What I did was I still had to turn around and come to his defense in this regard. People were using that to disrespect his game. That wasn't my issue with him. I was resentful of Kevin Durant making that move because it so dramatically shifted the balance of power in the NBA. I thought when he arrived in Golden State, I had never been less interested in watching NBA basketball because I knew no one had a chance. No one had a chance. It was just unfair to the rest of the basketball world. And obviously that was proven because you saw what the brother did. I think they would have three-peated if he hadn't gotten injured against, before Toronto and stuff like that. And we understand all of that. I think they would have three-peated, and I think that Kevin Durant is one of the great, great players that we have seen. Here's where it gets tricky, JJ and Eminem. And listen to this, old man in the three. Listen to this, Eminem. This is very important what I'm about to say. We moved beyond Golden State. He left Steph Curry to join Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn, and we saw how that meshed, how that panned out. That is the residue folks are holding on to now. Not so much him going from Oklahoma City to Golden State. It's what they left, it's the state of affairs they left Brooklyn in. And so now that you're in Phoenix with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, when people are talking about him, they ain't going to be talking about Golden State that much, even though that's where he got his 2 rings. They're going to be like, look, man, we got Bradley Beal and Devin Booker there. What you going to do? You kept DeAndre Ayton. What you going to do? They ain't have to give up DeAndre Ayton to get Bradley Beal. You got Ayton with Beal, Booker, and KD. And you got a championship coach, even though a lot of you we got whatever questions you want about Frank Vogel. He did win a championship, okay? And he has been to conference finals on at least 3 occasions. We got to give credit where credit is due in that regard. There's minimal excuses. And I don't have them as the favorites, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are minimal excuses when you look at him in the Phoenix situation. Well, first of all, you know what? As an executive producer on this show, I want to say that I am very offended that my usual lead-in to my Stevens A list was not shown. You understand what I'm saying? The list is fluid, like I like to say. It's fluid, and I wanted that whole
attitude reflect leadership.
I wanted that whole pomp and circumstance, and that wasn't here. He
We've
has something to do with
shown
that.
it
JJ
going
Redick has something to do with that. It's not the producer. JJ Redick influenced him. He's not showing it. But that's all right. It's time for my top 5 list, okay? Stephen A's list, the top 5 NBA title contenders right now before the draft, right now before next season, right now. And remember, one last time while Swag was watching, the list is fluid. The list is fluid. I get to change my mind. But we're going to go for this right now. Let's go to number 5 and let's give it to me, please. Bam! The Phoenix Suns. Why? We already told you all show. Bradley Beal has joined the fray. Kevin Durant is still there. Devin Booker is still there. They didn't even have to give up DeAndre Ayton to go. So you look at those 4, okay? Yeah, you got to build out that roster. We understand it. But when you got 4 prolific dudes like that, really 3, when it comes to those brothers' ability to score, we can't leave them out of the top 5. They're just too potent offensively to ignore. You got to put the Phoenix Suns as a top 5 title contender for right now. Let's go to number 4 on the list. Please give it to me right now. Bam! Right here, the Los Angeles Lakers. Why? Last time we saw them, they were in the Western Conference Finals. LeBron James is still on their squad. Anthony Davis is still on their squad. Damn it, without CP3 even being there yet. When you look at the way Darvin Ham had them playing defense, when you look at LeBron James and Anthony Davis, as JJ Redick keeps reminding me, look, bring up durability about Anthony Davis. He doesn't miss playoff games. Okay, so he gonna be there, by the way. And he ain't 40, he's 30. So you look at it from that perspective, you know the greatness of LeBron James will show up come playoff time. You can't leave the Lakers out of the mix. Their size and their ability to play defense and the exceptional coaching of Darvin Ham, you got to put them top 4. Give me number 3, please. I want it bad. I want it right now. Bam! The Milwaukee Bucks. Why? Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's why. I still got reservations about Middleton when he's going to get healthy. But damn it, Drew Holiday is still there. Giannis is still there. Middleton's going to still be there. We understand Budenholzer is gone. Obviously, Adrian Griffin's in as the new coach. I like him a lot. I think that was the right hire for them. I think they're going to come back with a vengeance. Giannis is going to have something to say about it. They're going to make noise at least during the regular season. They ain't my top 2, though. Give me my top 2 right here, please. Give it to me. Bam! The Boston Celtics. Why? Because Jason Tatum is special. Don't think that I ignored Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals after they were down 3-0, came back and tied it 3-3, that Jason Tatum got hurt, the first offensive player of the game. If he didn't get hurt, I believe Boston probably would have won that game. And I still believe that Boston would have been a better matchup for Denver. I think that series would have gone 6-7 games, but it didn't happen. But Jason Tatum is still there. Jaylen Brown, I'm assuming he's there until he's not there. I look at the personnel that they have in place. There's no reason to doubt them. And by the way, Mazzulla's got a year under his belt. He's no longer a rookie coach. I think he'll be better next year than he was this year. So I got him as a top 2 candidate. They ain't number 1, though. We know who number 1 is. It's right here. It's the reigning, defending NBA champions with the best player in the world right now in Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray is no scrub. In fact, he's a stud. Michael Porter Jr. showed up in that Game 7. I believe in this brother, and I think there's only an upside, okay? I think they keep Brown around, okay? You look at it, Contavious, Caldwell Pope, and others. I think they keep these brothers around. You look at their personnel playing together, playing selflessly, knowing they're the champions. This is what you have. I got the Nuggets, the Celtics, the Bucks, the Lakers, and the Suns. I know I left the Warriors out for now because of how Klay Thompson looked, all right? But the bottom line is this. The list is fluid. It's fluid. There's what months? to come where I can adjust. I like this list right now.
Fluid. Okay. All right.
Okay, first.
Honestly, golly, this is just too much Stephen A today. Honestly, I agree with this list. I have no qualms with this list.
It's a good list. It's a
really
good
good
list.
Oh man, what is happening today?
I wanted it to be terrible.
I wanted to be like 5. The Suns. Are you crazy? You gotta put Philly. I can't even say that.
This is probably look. How many of these lists do you do a year? This specific one, top 5 title contenders,
No,
NFL, NBA.
I don't
Oh,
do
come
too
on.
many.
But it's the most. All I'm
Every
saying
week
is
in
it's
the
the
NFL
most
season.
fluid.
Every week with the
It's the
NFL,
most
I got a
fluid.
new list every
We
week.
could do
my
this
power
after
rating.
free agency. You might have a different list.
Free agency.
fluid.
That's
The list is fluid.
We just want to tell the viewers
That's
that.
right.
It's very fluid.
It's very fluid.
I will say, I could probably
Get
make an
something.
argument.
Come on.
For swapping Bucks and Celtics, and
Why?
make an argument for Suns over Lakers. Well, with the Bucks specifically, they were the best team in the regular season. Giannis gets hurt. The big reason why they didn't. weren't
Okay, he's
able to
out
beat
2.5
the Miami-
games. He's out 2.5 games. Vast majority. Got hurt game 1.
Those
out
2
3.
losses didn't matter in
I
that series.
I understand.
Okay, all
But
right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I've been giving the Heat credit. I'm
Okay.
just saying.
Okay.
You brought up the Jason Tatum ankle sprain.
Right.
I'm going to bring up the Giannis injury. That's all.
But what about the fact that when he was healthy the year before that, Boston took him out?
No Middleton.
I'm sorry. I understand that. I apologize. I'm talking about Boston.
Yeah,
beat
no
Milwaukee.
Yeah, no Middleton that series.
Okay, that's true.
No Middleton.
That's
that
true.
series. All right. Anyways.
That's true.
Anyways, but I like the list. I got Suns over Lakers. I'm back and forth with that.
Yeah.
I will say it's a
We
great
gotta wait
list,
and
All
see.
right.
and it's way better than Mad Dog's list last week.
That's right. Hold on. Let's hear from Swag Go. Give it up, boys. Just give it up, my man. Just give it up, my man.
I like it. I like the list. I
I
like the
know.
list. The
You
one
guys
poem I
like
had
the
was the same
Lakers
one with
over the
JJ.
Suns?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Yeah, chemistry
ahead, Swagger.
matters right now because we don't know how that's going to work out. We don't know how it's going to work
Look,
out.
if
The
Reeves
Bucks
gets a bag
Celtics
and
is
leaves,
the interesting one.
Sorry, this is fluid. This is fluid.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
This
man.
was like the lamest list of all time. Give me
It's
grades.
the right 5
Let's
teams.
go.
though.
Let's go ahead.
It's the
Let's
right
give it
5
grades.
teams.
Excuse me.
great.
Is it straight A's?
Of course it's straight.
Hey, I didn't ask you.
Just give
I
it.
asked them.
Give it up, y'all.
Hey, we do great.
Give it
Let's
up,
go.
y'all.
I am
I
going to give the
can't-
list an A.
I can't muster the energy. I can't muster the energy to ever give him an A in anything. So a B plus.
But that's phony. That's blasphemous. I mean, come on, Marcus.
You've been a hater,
gotta be
Swagger.
kidding me.
And we head to the association right now as the NBA draft is coming up this Thursday with Bradley Beal on the move from Washington nearly complete. We take a look at what Portland plans to do with their star guard Damian Lillard. As teams inquire about his availability, Dame has said on numerous occasions he prefers to stay with the Blazers. Okay, Stephen A., I want to start with you. Should the Blazers trade Dame this offseason?
Yes, after he demands to be traded.
Okay.
I have been on Damian Lillard about this for a long time. He needs to get the hell out of Portland. He's been there long enough. You're not going anywhere. He's 32. He's going to turn 33 in July. He just finished averaging 32 this year when he's been able to play. He is an elite player in this game. He's a big-time player with a big-time personality, with big-time closing ability. He needs to be in a better situation where he's got a better opportunity to win. And it is something that he should insist upon. It shouldn't be about whether Portland is moving him or not. He should be asking to move on.
Wendy?
In a vacuum, you would say the Blazers absolutely should. They have a top 10 pick last year. They have a top 3 pick. Now is the time for them. They're already kind of up to their knees in a rebuild anyway because of the last 2 seasons. They absolutely should. And Dame Lillard has, a last act in his career, and he should be given the opportunity to play for a team that is in better position. But having spent quite a few nights in my career in Portland, at Dame Lillard games, at playoff games in Portland, being aware of what he means to that city, I just don't think it's that simple. And I think that's where Dame has been for years now. He is so beloved there. It is so much a part of who he is. And there is something to be said for spending your entire career with an organization, something to be said for year after year, getting people through the winters with wonderful nights, high-level basketball, and great moments. I watched my son fall in love with Dame Lillard last year when he hit one of those fourth quarter games, and now my son has a Dame Lillard jersey, and he taps his wrist. He knows. He's 5 years old. He knows. He has impacted so many people there. So I think yes, from just a strategy standpoint, it's easy to say it, but I think that doesn't take into account what it means to somebody and what it means to that community in Portland. And that's why I don't think it's easy, and that's why I don't think the Blazers or Dame have gotten there yet.
Yeah, Damian Lillard has earned the right to decide his future because of the way that he has performed, because of the way that he's carried himself, and the way that he represents that city and organization and what he means to that place. But I agree with both of you. They absolutely should trade. I mean, we just did a top 5 NBA title contender. There's not one move that Portland could make that would make them a contender next year. I'm not even sure there's 2 moves. That's how far away this team is from contention. And at some point, if you're thinking about the future of the franchise, you may have to make a difficult decision. But I truly believe this. If you're going to be as loyal as Damian Lillard has been to this organization, then he has earned the right. He has earned the right to decide his future.
I will say this. Nobody's denying that he deserves the right. Both of you are on point with that, and everything that you're saying about his affection and connection to the city of Portland and vice versa, Wendy, is not to be argued at all. It's not debatable. We get all of that. But where I make a left turn, and I'm somebody that loves Damian Lillard to death as a player and a person, I will tell you this. I don't want to hear somebody that great complaining about how everybody's about a championship. In his case, it's not about that. It's about your willingness to go for it. You are in a situation that's just not going to be able to compete. And you, with your level of greatness, you've got to want to be in a situation where you're at least going for a championship, as opposed to saying, even if we're going to lose, I'm perfectly satisfied in being in this losing situation. You're too great for that. At some point in time, we want to see you on the big stage. Otherwise, the only time anybody's going to be talking about you is when you're in Portland.
Yeah, but Stephen, I agree with that. I don't think he's perfectly satisfied that he's in a lose. He's never been perfectly satisfied. He's a competitive.
You're being literal with that. I've spoken to him. You've spoken to him. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is when he was making the claim, why I got to be about the championship? Why I got to be about that? I'm saying, nah. For you need to be going for it. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.